Hey, I'm Veronica.
Yo, what's up? And I'm Joey Z from the band Life of Agony.
You're watching the Warlock's Domain.
I'm here with Life of Agony, Joey and Veronica. So, Joey, you used to play Marshalls. In recent years, you've switched to Mesa.
The truth is, I don't mean to correct you right away as soon as this thing kicks off, but I actually have always been a Mesa guy. I dabbled with playing some Marshall stuff, but from day one, River Runs Red was actually recorded with Mesa Boogie gear. I had Marshall cabinets, but I would play Mesa heads. Now I'm a full Mesa artist where all I play is Mesa cabs and Mesa heads.
Because I noticed that you're using a Mark V, you're using a dual rectifier together, and years ago, when I used to see you a long time ago, it was always Marshall stuff that we would see out there.
Yeah, it would be the cabinets, mainly. But yeah, Mesa has been a staple sound for the band, and now I'm a full Mesa artist, and that's what I'm using.
And are you still using Jackson guitars?
I do have a couple Jackson out with me. I do love my Jacksons. They built some great guitars for me in the past, and I will bring them out every now and again. I'm not with any one guitar company right now. I just choose to play all my favorite guitars on the road, which is fun.
It's like Steve Ray Vaughan the way you have it all decorated.
Yeah, that's Michelle. That's my wife. That's a skeleton. This is Sophia.
Yeah.
This is my little baby Mia. When she was in the womb, there's Sophia in the womb. My mother-in-law passed away. I just, a little custom made. Then my St. Joseph broke on stage for my neck, so I crazy glued it to the guitar. Yeah.
Signature?
Yeah, that's my signature.
Alan just walked in the door, and I'm going to ambush him. What was the idea behind coming up with an adult?
The coloring book?
Coloring book. Yeah.
It was my wife's idea, honestly. I walked in, she was coloring my daughter in some of those like floral, beautiful coloring books. And I was like, I want to color too, but I want to color this. She was like, you should make your own. Make it gory and whatever, and here we are, 3 books later.
Tell me about the other companies that you're sponsored by.
Oh, me personally?
Yes.
Well, there's a lot actually. Bare Knuckle Pickups, Planet Waves Cables. There's been plenty of guitar companies that supported me over the years, like Schecter, Jackson, as you mentioned. There is Gizmotron, which is a really cool little electronic thing you can put on your guitar and do all kinds of real crazy sounds. I played D. Markley for a long time, but now I love my Ernie Balls. I'm into playing the Ernie Balls. In-Tune Picks, Bert Liccato over at In-Tune Picks, great pick company. And yeah, I think that covers it. Affliction Clothing, believe it or not. Jose Mangan and the whole crew over at Affliction, they've been amazing. They've sent us, oh my God, a ton of clothes and let us ransack their warehouse there.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool. And yeah, so there's been so many companies I've been supportive over the years, and it's just been awesome. Oh, I can't forget what's going on right now. Fractal Electronics, which is
Audio?
Yeah, Fractal Audio, which is makes some I'm using the AX8. Matrix, which is a solid-state power amp company. I believe the guys in Metallica might even be using them for their in-ears and stuff. That's what I heard. And so, yeah, tons of support left and right. It's great.
Hey, Joey, I had a question for you.
What's up?
Now, the other day you told me you use bare knuckle pickups.
Yeah, right here.
But you didn't tell me which bare knuckle pickups.
Black Dog. They're right here. Check them out. I actually have chunks of skin I'm taking off the guitar right now. Yeah, they're called the Black Dogs, and they're perfectly balanced. Like, they have the thickness, they have the clarity, They have like the perfect amount of gain, not too much, not too little. Very well balanced pickup. The best pickup I've ever plugged into, actually. I have them in all my guitars now. Bare Knuckle actually hit a home run with them. So.
Is this your main guitar?
Yep. This is, I call it the D guitar. It's a 81 Flying V, 1981, and it's done me right. I'll tell you that. Sounds really, really great. I use it for all the River Runs Red and the old school stuff because it has that density. The body is very dense and it has a very thick, dark sound, and it works really well for the River Runs Red and ugly stuff. So this is my Rivers Ugly guitar.
How did you connect with Veronica?
All right, well,
That's a good story.
That's a good one. Yeah, well, do you want to start it or shall I? Yeah, you
Well,
start
we
it.
could
both.
we could
Yeah.
do it together.
could both.
I'll start it. You can finish. So we have a mutual friend. I can mention.
Of course, yeah.
His name is Jeff Cummings. He's a good friend of mine. He plays guitar in the band Sworn Enemy. So he's a good friend of mine. Him and his girlfriend are very close with them for a long time. So
And Jeff teched with Jeff.
That's right, Jeff was his
guitar
tech for a
me for quite a while.
yeah,
Oh.
so they came out to LA. I guess 7 years ago?
Maybe
something,
more,
or
yeah.
Maybe
It
more.
was for NAMM. It was-
Yeah, for NAMM, and so we were just, the three of us were hanging together, and we're in NAMM, and Jeff's like, oh, I'm gonna meet up with, my buddy Joey, whatever, and from Life of Agony. I'm like, oh, cool, and he came, and we met.
hit it off.
We hit it off right away. Just kind of like we both say like we kind of feel like we known each other for a long time.
Personalities
like,
match.
Personality wise,
Yeah.
So I think we jammed like not too long after that in Brooklyn.
My
at the
old studio,
in the Method,
Method
of Groove
Groove.
studio in Brooklyn, which was great.
We jammed some Life of Agony.
We jammed
which
some
put
Life of Agony, actually.
Which put like the thought in my head that one day it would be great to make a band with her. I didn't think it would be Life of Agony, of course.
Or maybe just something someday.
But yeah, and then recently, we had a member change, and after that, we were kind of like scratching our heads, like, well, who do we try out or who do we get? And the first person that entered my mind was Veronica, and I said, wait, hey guys, I know this chick Veronica. You should really check out some of the stuff that she's doing. Check out her playing, and she's a really great person. And they were like, checked it out, and they were like, let's get her here right away. And I was like, I agree. So she came down. It just so happened she was in New York, which was great, and she came down to my house. I have a studio in my home, and we jammed, and it was like a no-brainer. It fit. She fit like a glove. She fit the band like a glove. Yeah.
Mina, how are you today?
Very good.
So now that you have Veronica in the band,
Me too.
there's two women in the band.
Yes.
How are you liking that?
I love it. It's everything works out for a reason. Even when things aren't working out, they're actually really, really working out. There's no negativity. It's just, people change, grow, expand, and it's been great. We're having a great time. We have the whole year set up. We're going out to Europe. We're going to be touring the States, and we're actually working on a new record again. So.
Now, for those who don't know, can you tell me about how you got discovered on YouTube?
I was discovered on YouTube by a guy named Jeff Beck. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
A guy named Jeff
Guy
Beck.
plays guitars. He kind of plays guitar, I guess. Yeah, so he found one of my videos, drum video on YouTube one day, and I guess was looking to, work with a new drummer. So he kind of contacted me through his management, had emailed me, and I was like, is this for real? Like, I didn't even believe it. I was like, okay, well, all right, let's have a call then, kind of like calling their bluff. And Jeff called me like 20 minutes later, and we had a conversation. And he said he saw one of my videos on YouTube and just wanted to work with me. So that's how that happened. That was about 2011.
Any person in their right mind would watch one of her videos on YouTube would want to work with her.
Thank
Let's
you.
put it that way.
Can you tell me about some of the other projects that you have been in?
Sure. Well, one main project that I still work with right now is DMC from Run DMC. I've been playing with him since around the same time, 2011. I play drums and I sing in that project and write a lot of the music with a full band. It's drums, guitar, bass, DJ, and D is the main frontman, of course. And yeah, it's a great project. We played the Run DMC songs, like rocked out with a band, plus some new stuff. So we actually just released a vinyl EP this past November, the Back from the Dead EP, and that it actually sold out. So we're gonna release it digitally probably pretty soon, and then release some more music. So yeah, you can look out for that. That's definitely fun.
I've been told that you have a pretty interesting pre-show warm-up that you do. Can you please tell us about that?
Interesting pre-show warm-up?
I don't know. Tell me what you do.
Well, one thing that I do is I always have to retie my shoes. Like, before I go on stage, I have to, like, make sure they're tight, because one of my pet peeves is, like, I hate when my shoes come untied when I'm playing. So I, like, always make sure that I have a nice tight tie. But
What about your stretching?
I stretch a lot.
I've seen her do
before
some
shows.
massive.
I do stretch a lot
I've seen
before
you,
shows.
yeah.
I actually stretch like all the time. Like if I don't sit still. If I'm sitting, I'm usually either stretching or like tapping or whatever. But yeah, I do stretching. I do warm ups. I have my pad set
on
up.
the drum pad over there.
Right over there, actually, just set it up so I can do some warming up before we hit the stage.
Joey, with Veronica's connections with a lot of mainstream artists,
Yeah.
how is that going to how is that going to influence the newer Life of Agony
Well,
music?
I'll tell you something that maybe many people don't know about Veronica is actually we share the same like interest when it comes to like music that inspires us.
Yeah.
We both like. It's funny. We discovered that we both like a lot of the same music. Like I always loved Sepultura, one of my favorite bands growing up, and you know all their albums from Chaos AD to
Yeah.
Roots to the earliest stuff, Beneath the Remains, and Veronica liked that stuff too, and I didn't know that about her actually at first. And we both like Korn, we both like Deftones. Who else? I mean, we discovered Nirvana. We both like, you know,
them religiously.
yeah. So we realized we share a lot of the same influences, which is so cool because I feel like that alone, we're gonna have that mindset together when we're writing new stuff to like bring some of those elements, that heaviness maybe, and you know how LOA has that heavy groove thing, and I think I know Veronica gets that, so it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out and how that all writes itself, you know.
In terms of forward direction for the band, do you all have similar ideas on the direction?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, this band is very organic no matter what we do. When we write, we're organic. When we're just hanging out, try not to put too many preconceived thoughts or things in place, because you got to let life kind of happen, and you got to kind of do that when it comes to writing, and you got to stay in the moment. So I think that, you know, the band definitely has a focus right now, and what the focus is just being tight as a band, as a unit, and as a group, and being sincere and real with each other when it comes to ideas of music or just in general, live show, anything. Just speak your mind, speak your wishes, and we'll figure it out. And we're all like that, and we all kind of open up our ears and listen to each other. So I think the new album is going to be special because of that, because we all do hear each other, you know, equally. And I think it's going to make a really cool album.
Is that something that wasn't going on years ago? Like,
No.
is
No,
how you write differently?
I think it did. It's just that we wrote very isolated, maybe. It wasn't that we didn't share or open ourselves up to the ideas. It was very isolated type of writing. A lot was done on email, whereas this time we plan to get together in a room a bit more. And, well, not a bit more, a lot more.
Yeah.
And hash out the seeds that we've been planting. Like, we call our little music ideas or song ideas seeds. So we have a folder going, and we put these little seeds in this folder, and those seeds will be worked on and grown into ferocious flowers.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And how do you feel? I mean, I know you've gone through a lot of changes in the last couple of decades.
And we're changing every day.
But how do you feel these changes are affecting the music that you're doing?
Well, the myth that you have to be really miserable to write great songs is just a myth. You know, and it was a cliche that I actually fell for my entire life. But I think, you know, both with Life of Agony and my solo catalog, the fact that I'm enjoying my life more than I ever have. I mean, life's just so abundant for me right now, and I feel really blessed. And I'm getting closer to myself, and you know, and I'm taking care of myself, and it's been amazing. I'm very happy, and the writings, you know, you're more inspired. Actually, you know, you're more energetic. Yeah.
With River Runs Red, would you ever consider doing something similar to that, or are you only looking forward?
Well, I'll tell you, there are definitely traces. You know, we are Life of Agony, bottom line. And if you really listen to the music, if you really open up your mind and listen to what we're doing, especially this last record, there are traces of that old school vibe in our music still. We can't write River Runs... Well, you can't sit down and say, okay, let's write River Runs Red Part 2, because I think it would be an injustice to... You know, I don't think it would be right. I don't think it would ever sound right, you know, to sit there and say, let's write a River Runs Red Part 2. I mean, we were how old?
You can't force something like that. I mean, the reason why that album was so great, I think, is because you were fresh. It was, you know,
we were young kids,
right?
and it just, we were that angry. We were tired of everything, school, this, that. Now we have different struggles in life. There are different things that we sing about, and different, I mean, still in the same realm, but I think as far as the power of the band and what we bring to the table, I just think it gets better and better. And this next record, I feel, again, is going to be a very special record, and you're going to hear traits of all of those good, you know, those massive Life of Agony grooves and, you know, old school kind of little inflections in our music that will come through on the next record.
Do albums even matter anymore?
It's a great question. It really is. You know,
It's tough.
what do you think?
It's tough
A lot of
to
people say no.
answer.
You know, a lot of
people do say no. I think just with technology and everything that's happening in music, it's tough to keep up sometimes. But I think albums still do matter. I mean, it's about your artistry, and creating an album is like throwing yourself into, you know, the music, and you know, it's like creating feelings. So
as a band, it definitely matters.
Yeah,
it definitely matters,
I think
because
that's
it's
how you connect.
Exactly,
you know?
and it's an expression. The album itself is a complete expression.
Right.
Like, yeah, there are different songs, but the album becomes the story.
Right.
And that's the best way I could put it. You know, so the album to us matters very much. I just don't know in the industry of the world how much
Yeah.
albums matter anymore.
Yeah, I mean, what you're talking about is it being like a concept.
Right.
But do you think that songs can still exist outside of the concept of the entire album?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Yes.
Now, it's been a while since you guys have been on the West Coast, but I know you've been here in the past with your solo stuff.
I recorded a record in 2007 called Fondness for Hometown Scars. Worked with amazing people. Martin Lenoble produced it, who played for Pyros, the Scott Weiland Band. Flea came down, he played trumpet on one of my tracks. I had David Bowie's guitar player, Jerry Lennon. Who else? Zach from the band Pedestrian, who's worked with Annie Lennox, the Pumpkins, Damien Rice, so many amazing artists on that record. And yes, it was actually the last time I spent time in LA. It was 2007. It's actually the last time I've been here.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were just out here very briefly for Knotfest. And,
Yes, November 5th, which was a
yeah.
great show. Great reaction. We were very surprised, actually, because I've been here for like so many years.
I know. Last time I saw you guys was when you were over here at. The last time you guys were here before that was with Mudvayne.
Yeah, that was a disaster.
That wasn't a good show. No, that wasn't a good show.
No, the whole tour was a disaster for us.
Yeah.
I got a warrant out for my arrest. There was riots pretty much almost every night. I literally choked a guy. A guy came to attack me on stage. I don't know how I wormed my way around him with the mic cable and yanked him down with the mic cable. That was the best part of the tour. The riots, pretty much.
So,
it was totally the wrong crowd for us.
Yeah.
You know, it was a learning experience. Mudvayne were really cool, though. Their security were great to us. Everyone was very concerned, even though everyone got a kick out of everyone kind of hating us every night. Because I was the only, pretty much, I don't know how to put it, authentic kind of feminine singer up there while everyone's doing their little kind of, you know, that's not me. You know, everyone's screaming their way through sets, but I guess people didn't really enjoy, you know, a proper vocalist.
What's your favorite sushi restaurant in LA?
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, so that's a tough question, believe it or not. I'll tell you why. My favorite has been for a very long time Sushi Dan. Okay? Sushi Dan, I don't know if everyone knows that place, but check it out. It's dynamite. Veronica took us to a sushi place last night after rehearsal.
Which one?
It's called Shintaro. That's my favorite.
And
Probably sushi restaurant ever besides going to Japan.
And it was
Shintaro.
dynamite.
It's
So it's a
amazing.
hard choice between Sushi Dan and Shikaro.
Shintaro.
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 Sounds like a Mortal Kombat character.
Shintaro.
Shintaro wins. Fatality.
What do you order when you go there?
Good.
I order everything.
Last night was fun.
I mean, you want me to go down the list? I'll go down the
why
list. I mean, you know, I get the spicy lobster rolls, I get the rainbow rolls, I get the salmon sushi, I get the scallop sushi, I get the whole menu. I don't know.
Wait, what was that spicy pepper thing? That was so good.
The pepper one?
Yeah,
Oh no, the shishito,
appetizer.
the shishito peppers.
Shishito peppers.
Shishito, they were spicy.
They were spicy and good.
Favorite Italian restaurant, favorite pizza place, and
In New York.
Yeah, New York.
Oh, it has to
And
be
of
New
course, somebody asked, what are your favorite toppings to put on your pizza?
Okay. Well, favorite Italian restaurant currently, I live in Long Island, New York now. I grew up in Brooklyn. But my favorite current Italian restaurant is delicious in Rockville Center in Long Island, New York. It's called Dario's, and they do it right. They bring out the big trays of fresh fish, and you actually pick your fish off. You know, they're like dead fish on ice, and you say, okay, I want to eat that guy. And they'll do it up any style for you and that kind of stuff. And so Dario's rocks is an Italian place in Rockville Center. Then pizza place is my all-time favorite classic is Lenny and John's Pizza on Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn. You can't beat Lenny and John's. It's that late night place. They're open to 4 in the morning. You know, it's total drunk food, but is the most delicious drunk food pizza you could ever get in your life. And Evan from Biohazard, Evan Seinfeld worked there and used to deliver for them. And when I was a kid, we used to ride in a car together and make deliveries for Lenny and John's. Yeah, Lenny and John's is great. And toppings on my pizza, I love jalapenos. I'm a spicy. I love spicy stuff. That's pretty much my favorite topping on pizza. Of course, you know, cheese. But I've tried a penny vodka pizza recently. Not the pasta though, I should say, just the sauce. It was like a vodka sauce.
Vodka sauce?
Yeah, with fresh mozzarella.
Nice.
Maron.
Well, yeah, favorite Italian restaurant definitely has to be Don Pepe's in Howard Beach, Queens. Shout out to Don Pepe's. Best baked clams in New York,
That's
man.
a good one right there.
You know that place?
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah.
Yep. My uncle took me. Yeah.
Yeah, and favorite pizza place, probably Carlo's Pizza in Port Washington, Long Island. Just the tastiest pizza. I don't know why. It's just so good. And always the mushroom and olive, man. Mushroom and olive is my toppings.
Tell me about your studio.
Well, the one, you know, I had lost the studio. That was in Brooklyn. The one we jammed, actually, when Veronica jammed, when we jammed for the first time, it was Method Groove Studio. I lost it in 2012 to Hurricane Sandy. Had 6.5 feet of water, but it was a blessing in disguise because I rebuilt in my home and I have a badass studio right in my house that I'm recording clients and artists right out of. There's stuff on the radio that came out of my studio. Half Past My Sin, my good friend Jason. You know, I did Kill Code, the band Kill Code from New York. I did their record just out of my home recently. It came out great. They're having success with it. Just having a great time, having it right there in my house, being able to go downstairs and turn everything on and start working. And A Life of Agony, we recorded the guitar tracks out of my house, which was great. And probably do that again with the bass as well on this next record. So it's a lot of uses for having it right there at home. It's really awesome. By the way, you can get in touch with me at joeyzproductions.com. And I don't only record in New York. I've traveled, I've recorded San Diego. I've gone to Canada. I've recorded bands in Canada. I've recorded bands in Europe, in Holland. So I travel around the world. You know, if the budget makes sense, I'll be there to record you.
Just when did you decide to get into studio
Production.
work and doing production?
I always loved it.
And do you even feel? I mean, you guys used to work with producers. Do you still?
Yeah.
Do you still work with producers? Or you just
we
produce
do.
yourself?
No. Well, it's a mix now. There's a mix in there because I think it's cool to do it yourself, but I also think that you need that outside person because sometimes there's too much tunnel vision going on when you're doing it yourself, all yourself, playing, producing. You kind of like you lose that outside. How would you say that outside view or that other person's opinion of you. So you got to leave yourself open, and I think bringing in a producer also frees you up to allow me to play my instrument and not always be pushing buttons while I'm playing my instrument or dropping tracks. So there's some pros and cons to it, but I think having an extra ear there, an extra person definitely helps.
In 2009, you guys did the River Runs Red album in its entirety on tour. Anything planned for Ugly or
You know what?
for
It's funny.
30th anniversary or anything like that?
The ideas have come up. Like that idea definitely has popped up in the last year or so. Maybe to do an Ugly in its entirety, because there's a lot of fans that love that album.
Yeah.
And that might be something special and fun to do. Right now, obviously, Veronica, she learned a load of songs, and she had to learn a bunch of songs, not just one record, but obviously like a bunch of our favorites and some fan favorites from the catalog.
Right.
That we're doing on this Rise of the Underground tour, which that's really important. What we wanted to get across on this interview with you is the tour we're on this year and the extent of it, and what we're doing, what we're specifically doing on this tour for the fans, for us, for everyone involved with Life of Agony who wants to be involved. We're doing some special things. And we're diving deep into the catalog of our songs. And like I said, Veronica learned a load of them. She'll call me and be like, you know that part, you know? Those tempos, you know, what are you guys doing?
Those tempos.
Those
yeah.
tempos. But anyway, you know, she's been working super hard and I mean, beyond hard. And it's going great. And we plan on doing some special stuff in the future and keep adding songs and keep changing it up, right?
Changing it up, you know, switch up the sets, you know, from night to night.
What about another acoustic show? It's been a long time since you've
that
done
might be fun too. Mina brought up that idea. It has to be right setting, has to be the right setup, you know, setup and setting. But you know that's always a possibility too. And like I said, right now this is all so early in the it's like everything just gave birth now, so we're just kind of feeling it out and with each other and getting ourselves kind of like organically connected with music and everything else, and it's going great. So we just gonna keep going on this vibe and see what happens from there.
Whatever happened to Propane Dan?
Propane. Oh, Dan Richardson. You mean? Oh, whatever. Well, you know, I did Stereo Mud with Dan Richardson. Well, we did Stereo Mud together. Dan actually started a big company down in Florida, and I know he did a Crumbsuckers show. You know, he's the drummer of Crumbsuckers. I mean, forget Life of Agony and Propane. He's the drummer of Crumbsuckers, okay? But Dan's doing great. I'm still in touch with him. We're good friends. He just has a business down in Florida. He actually has a limousine shuttle company that he owns, many buses, many vehicles, and he's sitting by his pool, smoking weed, drinking beers, and enjoying life.
Recently in an interview, you were asked what your least favorite song was.
Yeah, that's strange.
Oh yeah, someone did ask me that.
I'm going to ask you first. Of all the Life of Agony songs that you've heard, which is the least favorite and which is the hardest for you to play?
I don't think any of them are hard for her to play.
Well, I'll answer the second question first. What was the hardest? I mean, what was one that we've been working on a lot to like? Was there one that we were really?
I think. Well, Meet My Maker had that crazy like verse beat. That was one. That crazy
the
kick pattern
was a little
That crazy kick pattern. But I mean, that wasn't so hard. Once you got it was fine.
I mean, I don't know. The hardest song to play.
Wicked Ways is a little funky because there's a lot of ups and downs and.
You know, it's probably something off Rivers because there are a lot of fluctuations in the tempos, and I think some of that was a little challenging at first to get it.
You play it very well, though.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. You know, I don't know. I want to say like this time or something, maybe. Just because like it's probably one of the longer songs.
Least favorite or
no,
the
no,
hardest?
no, not the least favorite. No, as maybe the hardest song, just because it's
nailing tempos.
It was the longest one. Yeah, just some of the tempos, the fluctuations, just getting that groove right when it switches, and so I guess maybe that one was the most challenging. I don't know. I can't really say I have a least favorite song. Like,
yeah, that's what it was such a hard question for me.
I wouldn't really feel comfortable saying it in front of you.
You can, though.
Well, okay,
honestly,
but what about?
I don't think I do.
I know.
I
That's
really
what I
love
said.
all the songs. Like,
What about stuff off of the demo, the early days?
I love them. I mean, honestly, like I can't remember half of it, but anytime I hear it, it actually makes me smile just because it was part of what brought us here today. So, you know, all that, everything we did, everything we experienced, it's so hard to answer a question like Veronica's saying, what's your least favorite thing? Or least favorite show. It's almost like, you know what?
Yeah.
There's some good, really great songs, and there's some okay songs. I don't know if I actually have a specific.
Yeah, but
least
each
favorite.
song is your baby in a
Yeah.
way, you know. So it's like, which is your ugliest baby?
Yeah, you can't ask someone that.
It's not. It's
So
not a
it's
good
such
question.
an
but-
awkward. It's such an awkward question, and if you had an answer, I'd be able to say, "Boom, that's the song." But I don't.
Yeah, I know. That's how I feel. I
Yeah,
don't-
you're like you'd be making it up, which is
Yeah.
forcing it.
Do you ever play any of the old demo songs live?
You know, we used to do Plexiglass Gate, which was we used to just do the intro part of it, like up to where the words started. And Mina doesn't want to sing it, so we would stop there and go into another song. Which maybe one day we can get Mina to sing it. But that's a cool like demo song that I think a lot of the fans want to hear. We want to play it. It's just all about getting Mina to maybe give it a shot at rehearsal one day.
You think they want to hear it?
No, they know.
Shout it.
They
shout at every show.
yeah, every show they're like, play Plexiglass Gate.
How has the reception been? Do you feel the crowd and the fans opening their arms and welcoming you in?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean, that's a cool question because there's always that kind of like thought in the back of your mind that's like, you know, when you join a new band, or especially when there's a member change, and because I know how it is, it's tough. It's tough on the kids, tough on the fans when that happens, so I get it. So there's, you know, as excited and happy as I was to like be a part of it, there's always that little voice that's like, oh, the fans gonna accept me? Is it, you know, what are they gonna think? And like right off the bat, as soon as it was kind of announced that I was in the band, I was getting messages, you know, Facebook, Instagram, you know, welcome me to the family. A
lot of love.
A lot of love, very welcoming. So it was a really great feeling for me to kind of like, you know, have a rite of passage, so to speak, into the band by the fans, and just kind of be, you know, welcomed and accepted
Brooklyn
by
was
them,
a-
embraced, yeah.
And Brooklyn was a
cool.
confirmation of that. I mean, as soon as she got up there on stage and we were getting ready to actually start jamming and play for that first show, the crowd just really was applauding her, you know, just while we were just up there, and they were like shouting things, but all
Yeah, it was
positive and
cool,
like,
it was cool.
yeah, go nuts, and you know, like, yeah, Veronica, good to see you, and you know, and it was just an overall like such a positive vibe. And
Totally.
and all the Life of Agony fans, I gotta say it out there, you know, they're really dedicated fans. They love the band, and we feel it, and we know how important the band is to them, and it's just as important, obviously, to us. It is our life, and that's the bond we share with them, and that's why they do open their arms up to someone like Veronica and welcome her, because they want to see the band continue. They want to see everyone
Yeah,
happy,
sure.
and even Sal be successful at his band at Pale Horse Named Death, and everyone be happy, and everyone do what they want to do in life and be happy.
Absolutely.
And, you know, that's our challenge every day.
Thank you for the love. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for sharing this miraculous yet overlooked moment of the here and now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The gratitude is infinite. We love you. We'll never quit. I want to die on stage. Wait, I either want to die in bed peacefully, silently, maybe with my dog, or I want to die on stage.
Over the last almost 30 years, you've seen a lot of tattoos of the Life of Agony logo.
Oh, wow.
Are there any of them that actually stand out?
Wow, I mean, a ton. I've seen one guy, he had the River Runs Red Hand with the whole blue scene with the tile. I'll never forget, it was a large tattoo. I forgot if it was on his back or his bicep. It might have been a big guy, and he had it across his bicep. And it was the hand on the floor with the wrist and the blood and the tiles, and it was so like done so well. So that one stuck out, and just so many countless others get so creative, the fans, with what they get around the symbol and the words they choose from our songs or the phrases. And there's such cool phrases in our lyrics, as everyone knows, and people choose different phrasing to put around the symbol, and and stuff like
Super
that.
cool,
So
yeah.
we've seen some really wild stuff. The wildest thing to ever see, though, and I think is nuts, is when the fans actually get our names tattooed. We signed the tattoo, and then they come back and they're like, "Look, I tattooed your signature in my leg or my arm," and I'm like, "Holy, that's mad dedication for life." You know, that's just special. I mean, to do that's hardcore fan right there.
And Life of Agony has always been kind of like a family.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you know, not only are you guys related,
Yeah.
but well, a couple of you guys related, but everyone's
Being in a
always
band
been
is a family. Really.
It is.
It is. No matter what band you're in, it is a family.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I always feel. I mean, I met you guys. I think back in 1994. Okay, and you know, I've had you guys on
We haven't
video.
changed. You know that. We don't change.
I've had you guys on video. When I was doing the Warlock's Domain
Yeah.
originally in the 90s, I had you on 4 times,
Yeah,
and you
I remember.
always opened. You always welcomed me with open arms,
Right.
and you were always friendly, and it was different than a lot of the bands, other bands that were out there. I mean, a lot of them let success go to your heads and
I know.
go to their heads,
I
and
know.
you were always very welcoming.
Yeah, that's how we are.
So you know, so tell me how you feel about the family notion of everything.
Listen, I think in life you have to be true to yourself. I think you can't let, you know, what you do be, how would you say, you can't let what you do define you. You are defined with the thought, I think you should be defined with who you were born as. And stay true to yourself and keep your feet on the ground and be good to others. I think that's where it really all matters, is where give back. Like if someone wants to take a picture or talk to you for a few minutes, don't be like that person is you are only up there on stage because those people are showing up to see you.
Exactly.
If there's nobody there to see you, guess what? You're not doing so I mean be humble to the whole thing. Be humble that you get to play music for a living, that we get to go on stage and jam out and feel that feeling. It's, I mean, beyond that.
No, I know. I mean, I love what I do, and I love playing on stage, and it wouldn't be possible without the fans. So it's like, you know, if that inspires somebody and they want to come up to me and talk to me or whatever, I mean, I'm always down. So, you know, I'll talk to anyone.
Cover songs. Now, you guys have done, you know, I mean, on the albums you've done Don't You Forget About Me, Redemption Song. Do you ever play them live?
No, you know, we did a couple of years ago. We would just pick some random songs, whether it was like a half of a Beatles song, like "She's So Heavy." We did for a little while. We did, you know, a little Black Sabbath here and there over the years. We threw in a little Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and you know, we would do like little pieces or interludes of songs in between. Years ago, we haven't done it in a while, but I think we'll probably get back into doing that. I mean, Mina had mentioned, I had mentioned it, like maybe we should be fun to like all pick a song to kind of learn, just like, you know, again, the doors are wide open for the band to have fun and to give a new interpretation of our show, our live show, and what we do. So with those doors being open, I think the possibilities are endless of what we're going to try and do and attempt.
Now, you've done Annie Lennox songs in the past.
I've done Annie Lennox.
Have you done any David Bowie's?
Yes, but I haven't released any of it yet. And I've done a lot. I might release a covers record where, I don't know if you know the last record I did, the last solo record, Love Hard, I did Betty Davis Eyes. I've done Annie Lennox, Betty Davis Eyes. I did Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit. I did 2 versions. I did a version of Bum Bum Bum, I Feel Depeche Mode. I got a whole bunch of covers. I'm probably going to release a cover record before my next solo record because I'm always releasing music, regardless of if it's a part of the industry or not. I just like to keep putting my material out there because I'm full of creativity and stuff.
The term veteran rocker, when that comes to your head, you think of bands like, I don't know, Steely Dan or Aerosmith. Leonard Skinner. But now, Life of Agony are veteran rockers. I've seen that plenty of times in print and I've heard it in interviews. How do you feel being
entering that realm?
How do you feel being a veteran rocker?
I think it's great again that we get to do this still. I think that it's great that we're healthy enough, knock on wood, to to still get to play music, and that we are physically able. And there are a lot of unfortunate people on there that I'm sure would love to do things at this age or things that they love. So I feel again very fortunate. I think I speak for everyone in the band. We feel very fortunate that we're able to do this, and to have a title like a veteran rocker. And not that we've had the success of some of these other bands. We definitely had success, and success is measured by really your heart. And I think we still can rub elbows with all these guys and share stages with the best of them and still hold our own. So I think it's just a cool thing all around, again, for the longevity of the band, in that we still are able to play timeless music for all these people.
How do you feel joining a veteran rock and metal band?
Oh, I mean, I feel honored, playing these songs. Like, I feel honored, really, honestly. I mean, the three of them, to me, are like the highest level of human being you can get. I mean, they're amazing people.
Thank you.
And it's been a blast. I mean, I was a fan first, turned friend, now turned member. So I feel great. I love it. I love it.
She made us breakfast the other day, by the way, Richard, and it was amazing. Like, we landed, and the following morning, Veronica whipped up some of her awesome sweet chili bacon, spicy sweet bacon,
Sweet,
turkey
spicy
bacon, by the way.
Bacon.
And it was.
I don't dig on swine.
Nah,
Turkey
and I
only.
can't eat swine, so she's perfect. But she made us this awesome breakfast, and we're sitting there, we're eating pancakes that she made with bananas and blueberries in them, with this amazing sweet spicy bacon she made, and we're all at the table drinking our coffees and lattes, and we're just looking at each other going, isn't this awesome? That we're just like powing out, and we're all excited and giddy about the shows here in the West Coast, and talking about the songs, and it was just a great moment, the four of us sitting in her kitchen having breakfast the other day.
And does anybody else like to cook?
Yeah, all of us.
Yeah, well,
I like to cook. Mina does her own cooking at home. Alan, I know, dabbles with some stuff, but Veronica, she loves to cook. She can tell you. She has some signature dishes.
We're gonna have a big dinner tomorrow as well. Tomorrow
She has
night,
some eggplant parmesan.
Homemade eggplant parm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're ready.
Do you prefer the recognition that comes with being a rock star, or do you like to be left alone and like be solitude and solitary?
I think there's a time and place for everything. When it comes to my family, I'm a little more private about I don't post like my little baby, they're not babies anymore, but my daughters, I don't do too much like that stuff online. I think there's some people out there with, you come across a lot of weird on the internet and a lot of fake accounts and people trying to pry for information. That kind of stuff definitely rubs me the wrong way. When I know it's not coming from a true, sincere place, in that world, I'm not too crazy about being so open about my private life and my wife and my kids and blah blah blah. But when it comes to just doing it out here on the road and being with the fans, and I love engaging. I love being making myself available and seen, and I think we all feel that way, and available to the fans and interact in person, not just online. Mm-hmm. I think it's important in person to be able to see your favorite band members and like back in the day, getting to meet Metallica and stuff like that, or Ozzy Osbourne. It was such a special moment, and then making friends with them and hanging and stuff and whatever. It means something, and we know it means something to the people. So I think there's two sides to that story. I think in the right time and place, it's cool to actually have this, how would you say, type of life.
Do your neighbors know who
Yes.
you are, and do they know how loved you are around the world?
Yes, yeah. My neighbors are so cool. I'm lucky. I'm very lucky to have. I'm blessed with awesome neighbors. We have parties in the yard, and all my neighbors come by, and they're so special. They hear the music. You know, I do have a studio at home, and although it's not blaring loud out there in their homes, they do hear me. They do hear the guitars wailing. They do hear, you know, drums wailing when she's over. they will hear her, and you know, they're all cool about it. So I've been blessed with that.
Is there any place that stands out as your favorite in all the land that you've traveled?
There's cherry markets, like, I love Los Angeles, I love New York City, I love Berlin, I love Amsterdam. Pretty much all of Germany is fantastic for us. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the night. It doesn't really matter. You know, Prague's great. There's so many great cities, and our fans, our tribe, I'd like to call it, they're all over, and it's special everywhere. Even if there's 50 kids, you know. Actually, I prefer these little tiny venues much more than playing in front of 150,000 people. Like, we actually played with Bowie. It was the Pixies, Placebo, Life of Agony, and David Bowie. It was his. Remember when he stopped playing because he had the little heart problem years ago? We had 2 nights with him, and he only did the first night. The second night they canceled. So, like, I had the opportunity to play with one of my favorite songwriters and artists ever. So
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And the Pixies, of course. It was great to play with them. I've been a big fan of them my entire life as well.
Give me a little bit more information about the new stuff
Yeah.
that you guys are working on. I mean, you brushed on it earlier. You just talking about the stems and all, but just give me a little bit more on the new stuff.
Yeah, we're at the early stages right now. I mean,
Yeah.
sharing ideas, sharing.
Pretty much pretty much nailed it before. I mean, it's pretty much in its infancy right now. You know, a lot of ideas floating around. Some full demos of songs and some just kind of ideas, you know, like a verse and a chorus or something. Or
Are you
like
guys
an
writing on the
instrumental.
road?
Well, we will.
we will be,
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. We're going to be sharing. We got this, like we said, now when we're together, that's even more. Like today and yesterday and all the days leading up to this little West Coast run have been a little confusing. We had to get a lot together.
Yeah.
And so there hasn't really been time to just sit down and chill and maybe grab a guitar and work on an idea or anything yet. But that will happen. We're going to have plenty of time on the road this year on the Rise of the Underground.
Yeah.
So those seeds that we have already planted, those will grow. And I'm sure a bunch more seeds are obviously going to come.
We'll probably just get in a room, you know, hit the record button, I'm sure, and just wail and see what happens. I mean, we did that at the last rehearsal at your place.
Yeah.
We were like, that's a cool riff.
Yeah, we were just around and
Yeah.
she was playing this beat with these little double bass parts in there, and I started riffing out and following her, and she was looking at me like,
I was like, oh yeah.
she gave me the face like, this one with the stick. She's like, this one's gonna.
There'll be some stuff. There's gonna be
Yeah.
some good stuff.
All right, so just talk about the tour, the current tour that you're on right now, and anything else you'd like to talk about.
Yeah, Rise of the Underground tour. You know, West Coast run happening right now. Whiskey Tonight, we're hitting Anaheim on Friday.
Yep.
Then Vegas, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, San Diego. Then we have a couple of festivals in June, Austria, Germany.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, the festival in July.
And the
What was that one?
Incarceration in Ohio,
Yeah,
which is
that's
a big
gonna be fun.
festival. It's like radio, but there's a lot of heavy bands on it. Really, it's gonna be an awesome festival. And then we're back in the United States. This is important. We're back in September, and we're gonna be hitting a lot more
Yeah.
cities. If you look on our website, there's a whole bunch of dates that are on there. Those are confirmed. Those are happening. So get your tickets now because, truthfully, they're gonna be sold out. These shows are going like hotcakes. The tours are selling out. So, you know, go get your ticket for Life of Agony. We're doing these intimate shows on purpose, playing these smaller places so we could be in everyone's face.
Right.
And that was the idea behind the Rise of the Underground, keep it at the grassroots level. So, you know, expect us to be hitting your city this year. Go look at the dates online.
than a couple of shows where I've seen you, I actually haven't spent time talking to you since the recording of Soul Searching Sun when I was at the studio with you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I was a mess back then.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of coke. I was doing a lot of ecstasy. I wanted to die. I was trying to kill myself, actually.
Well, and how are you doing now?
It was then I really wanted to come out. That's why I quit the band, really.
Yeah, right after.
Yeah. I'm great, man. I'm loving life. I love my life. I love that I'm just making people really uncomfortable.
I saw something on Twitter where you were talking about making people
I
uncomfortable.
live to make people uncomfortable. I want people to change. I want people to really have the courage to be disliked. You know, like, people need to stop subscribing to the thoughts of others. It's all about what you think, what you feel. You can be, do, or have anything that your heart desires. Forget about the religious institutions. Forget about the political paradigms. These paradigms will not serve humanity at all. They're a bunch of buffoons. They're useless. You know, you got politicians trying to tell you how to pray, and you got religious leaders telling you who to vote for. Everything's just bullshit. I can't subscribe to any of it. It's fake. It's the furthest thing from the progression of a healthy and happy humanity. You know, they're trying to derail us from our sovereign rights to be natural. They're poisoning our waters. They're poisoning our foods. The pharmaceutical companies, you know, please. The therapists out there, they're on more drugs than they're prescribing the poor people. That's why it's just like meditate, exercise, and two things: care about how you feel and care about feeling good. And you gotta treat yourself well. You gotta love yourself. You gotta do a lot of self-care, and it takes practice. It's practice, practice, practice. That's it.
You've been friends with the guys in Power Flow, you know, Biohazard and Fear Factory, all those other bands for a very long time. Can you tell me how you guys hooked up for this tour?
Yeah, I mean, it just made sense. Billy's been a friend, like you said. I mean, I guitar tech for Biohazard when I was 16 years old, literally. Like, and they had a demo. Like, that's how much I love Biohazard growing up. And, you know, so we've been friends for a very, very long time. We used to live across the street from each other. I don't know if many people know that, but Billy's apartment was across the street from my house. So we would spend so much time in each other's houses, hanging out, playing guitar and everything. So we've made a friendship that can't be broken no matter what. I mean, so it just made sense. Billy has this new project. They're on the West Coast. Veronica knows Billy as well for quite some
Billy
time.
for a few years as well.
And it makes sense. It made sense. Power Flow has a very cool thing going on right now out here, and they've done a bunch of shows that was successful, and we thought it would be a great combination to put our two bands together. And
I could tell you, I saw them at the Viper Room, you know, a couple weeks ago, and it was slamming. It was slamming. So I'm just psyched that they're, you know, with us on this run, and you guys should be psyched too. So I hope.
Hell yeah.
I hope people come down and, you know, have a great time. And
Do you have a message for all your fans out there about the things that you have dealt with over the last, you know, many years, and how you've come out stronger?
Well, you know, it definitely took me my whole life. Not my whole life, but it took me until my 30s to actually be confident enough to be purely courageous. So, I mean, everyone's got a different journey. I can't speak. I only could encourage people to be themselves and really give a rip of what other people think, because, you know, you need to subscribe to your own heart and soul. Turn the television off. Stop looking down at your phone. Look up in the skies. Realize, you know, man, we have this one gorgeous trip, like this here and now. That's all there is. There is no yesterday, there is no tomorrow. It's right here and now. To care about how you feel, care about feeling good, and to spread that joy and that affluent abundant attitude. Be kind, just be kind. Be kind to yourself. And the more kind you are to yourself, the more kind you want to be to your fellow friends and family and strangers in the street, you know? And read and do your research, and don't take it from me, really, you know? This is my journey. Everyone walks their own life, their own path, so, but anyway, I love you, thank you.
All right, here's some parting
Peace.
Some parting words. Thank you, Richard and Warlock's Domain. It's been 20 plus years since I've known you, and you know, thanks again for getting the word out there for us, because this is what this does. Like, we appreciate it all, and thanks for being so cool. You had some great questions and great input from the fans themselves, which that was a cool idea what you did. And thanks to the fans, and we're so looking forward to this coming year and next year, because we plan on releasing this next album sometime in 2019. We're still on Napalm Records. We just re-signed with them, and it's going to be a great venture, and we're very excited about the future of the band.
Yeah, just happy to be here. Just really looking forward to the tour, writing with these guys, and you know, just full speed ahead, man. So just see you guys on the road.
See you on the road. I'll park this son of a bitch! I'll park this mother... Oh, watch out for that pole!